There's a water buffalo emoji, by the way.
And it seems to have a urinary infection.
Oh, no. Somebody help this water buffalo. Is there like a veterinarian emoji?
There has to be. There's all these animals. There must be a veterinarian.
There's got to be a veterinarian somewhere. I mean, if they have information booth person emoji.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Who's to say that is not a veterinarian office behind the information booth person?
Yeah, that's true. They have 2 different types of camels.
Do they have different numbers of humps? Is it
The one just says camel, and the other one says dromedary camel, if I'm saying that right.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of the other one. Backtrain camel.
Mm.
Yeah, they have separate humps.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, this is Chipod Ironicast, your May 2018 edition. We talk about video games sometimes and other things too. How's everybody doing today?
I'm doing okay. I'm keeping my sanity while being unemployed still.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, not to be a bummer. I'm doing fine.
This is one of those we're going to talk about video game months though, because
it is
the biggest event in the industry is right around the corner.
Yeah, E3.
Yeah, I forget how I left last year on the whole Tony Awards fake out. Am I up to the triple fake, the quad fake? I'm not even going to do it anymore. Because this year, I'm not that interested in the new musical selection because fucking SpongeBob got the most nominations. Like, what the hell is even, like, I listened to the score. It's not great.
Weird.
I hear good things about the Mean Girls musical. I'm just not interested in a slate that, like, all but one of them are based on either very recent or, in SpongeBob's case, current media properties.
Oh, I can't imagine what the SpongeBob musical is like because SpongeBob doesn't have a good singing voice. Just saying.
I mean, it's not Tom Kenny, but it is a guy like Tom doing Kenny. A SpongeBob voice at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man. It's weird because it's this huge multi-artist collaboration. Like every song is by a different, like, famous pop artist.
Oh.
Bowie contributed from Beyond the Grave in another collaboration with Brian Eno.
Whoa.
To do Plankton's song. And like,
great.
Yeah. Just for one example, it's wild. It's
weird.
It's not what we're talking about today.
It's not. Unless SpongeBob the Musical somehow gets a video game tie-in.
I guess.
E3's happening. It's that time of the year again. It's weird because, previous times where we've talked about E3, although we skipped it last year just because I was too busy.
We skipped a lot of things last year.
Yeah. But like last year was like weird for me because it's like, oh, I'm in the industry now. This is the first E3 where it's like the game I was working on is there. Mm-hmm. And now I have like a kind of a different perspective on that stuff and, anything else related to the games industry.
I was so disappointed to not see Agents of Mayhem on any of the main shows. I was like, come on. I'm living for this. Come on.
I doubt it matters if I say this now. There was at some point, like really early on, I think Agents of Mayhem was going to be on Sony's conference. But it was just like they had like a lot of really big things where it was like...
Did you get bumped for Death Stranding? Did Kojima just fuck you?
I mean, essentially, probably. It was basically just like they were being really tight over their time slots. And basically the things we had to show, they couldn't fit in any of the remaining time slots. And then
not enough Walking
stuff,
Dead actors in your video package.
Yeah. Oh man, should just made Agents of Mayhem a zombie game. But
no hard feelings. Yeah, it's just goofy.
No. Yeah, but it's just, I view it differently now. It's weird. I'm still like excited as usual to see it, just to see like, oh, are there things I'm interested in? Cool. But if I if E3 could just be a place where people just dump their announcements and they're just there, and like we just skipped the whole E3 thing, and it was just how it is immediately after E3, where everyone's like, what are the trailers that are cool? What's coming out? And it was just that, I would be way happier at this point.
Yeah. It's the whole song and dance. It's all the rigmarole.
Yeah.
And the only song and dance there ought to be is Just Dance 8 or whatever we're up to.
Yeah. It's a tried and true tradition of E3 to have a bunch of Just Dance people come on stage and waste 5 minutes of everybody's life.
Guess what? We're making another one. It's like
cool.
They don't have people come out to run a football play. We know there's going to be a Madden. Okay, we can just get on with it.
I mean, the thing is with the sports games, EA's always like, they don't run like that stuff anymore. They always get like, here's an extremely old and like about to die sports legend. We're going to wheel him out on stage and he's going to be like, oh, soccer. And then his jaw falls on the floor and it's like, FIFA is coming out. But I don't know. It's just like, there are a couple things I'm still like, excited about to see. Like, at least I don't have to like theorize like, oh, are they going to show Death Stranding? Because they already said like, yep, that Sony is mostly focusing on just 4 games that have already been announced. And they're just going to like show a lot of those 4 games. And then like there'll be some other stuff at some point, you know, from other people that aren't Sony. So it's just like, oh, well, it's right out there. We kind of know what we're getting for the most part. But it's all of a sudden I have become very tired of the whole rigmarole of E3 and I have not even gone to one yet. If I end up like still working in the games industry for my next job or something, and like I am like any of the video people who actually have to like touch the video cameras more than like once a couple of months, like I will probably have to go to an E3 and I bet it's going to be awful.
But what if it's wonderful? What if it like reinvigorates you? What if just like the neon and the community and like, oh my God, you're that guy. I know that guy, and it's you. I could touch you. Yeah,
I mean, there's been a couple of times now where I've actually talked to over the internet or physically met a couple like, you know, people I recognize from the games industry. Like I've talked to Tim Schafer because we had him on for a Day of the Tentacle stream at Volition like a year or 2 ago. And so I got to talk to him for a little bit and I made him laugh. And that was cool. I've also met Dave Lang, who's, dive kicking shit in Chicago. Just because he was doing like a recruiting thing where I live. And meeting both of them, they're really nice. And it was like really cool. And like, wow, that's really cool. But from everybody who like frequently goes to E3, they always go, fuck, it's E3. Because it seems like in between having to do interviews or demo the game or do any of the other stuff that's super strenuous and really stressful, because this is like a really big moment to make sure that your game sells and that, it doesn't destroy you. Every other moment is basically just like, we need a fucking drink, and then everyone gets really sick. I've seen people like the past 2 years or so going like, hey, you going to E3? Is this your first E3? Are you new to this whole thing? Here's a bunch of things that you should try and do. Anytime you're not doing work, try to pretend you have an alcoholic drink, but it's really just like water or something. So people will stop fucking bothering you to drink, because guess what? Everyone's going to get fucked up. Do you not want to be not fucked up so you can do your job and not be miserable for a whole week? Well, and everyone's going to be telling you to drink.
See, all the technical difficulties make so much more sense now.
Right? It's like, I still laugh when technical difficulty stuff comes up, and it's like one of my favorite things, especially when it's like, there was some E3 thing a few years ago or something, some Sony conference where one of the cameramen, I think he just didn't know they had switched to his camera because he was constantly readjusting the zoom. So it was just zooming in and out very quickly on this man's face who was talking. And it was really fucking funny. But even just running like my own live streams for like video game stuff in the past now, it's like, oh, I get it. Everything breaks with no reason, no matter what.
So every time there's some really stilted, fake sounding team chat in a quote unquote live demo, just remember they're trying not to puke right now. Okay, give them a little benefit of the doubt. Give them some space.
Yeah, they're really trying not to just fucking go all over their shoes and all the wires too. That's gonna get real bad real quick. But yeah, I think the main thing with E3 that's just gotten real tiring is the like there's a certain level of promotion for games where it's fine, and sometimes like, well, here's a cool trailer where it's like they're having fun with it or whatever, but it's just it's just all the marketing speak stuff that just gets like they're saying not a lot in a very long time period for most games, or just talking them up to such a degree where it's like, I know it's not going to be like this. Just tell me, like, fuck, like, yeah, the fake TeamSpeak stuff where it's just the worst. One, because nobody talks like this, and two, it's such a like, it's just such a sterile, like, made in a lab feeling.
What if they actually transcribed everything, like that's how the script started, and then they tore out everything they'd have to bleep, and that's what's left?
Oh jeez. I've always really wanted some game to have a trailer where they make fun of the shitty TeamSpeak stuff, or even just do the joke could literally just be like what actual TeamSpeak is, which is like if I play fucking Monster Hunter or something and everyone's mic is on, but it's completely silent. Nobody's talking except for the 12-year-old who's fucking ripping one every 3 minutes, and then a baby crying like 300 feet in the background. That's what it is in every game. Like, it's not even people being mad or calling people slurs most of the time now. I mean, maybe I'm just not playing the right games also, but
I think maybe you are playing the right games.
Yeah. But it's just like, it's just silence and burping and babies crying like so far in the distance. They must be hiding in a cave system or something. Like they're spelunking.
And if you rescue the baby, you get an extra heart.
Yeah. That's my new this new game I'm working on. The main side activity is saving babies trapped in caves.
You also have to save the cave because you're an environmentalist.
Yeah. The caves first, really, babies second. They're a secondary objective.
Well, they're always making new babies, but when's the last time somebody made a cave, huh? Answer me that.
We only have so many caves, man. But anyways, actual things that might be happening.
Cool, all right.
But actual things might be happening at E3. I mean, it seems with the way Sony is focusing on only 4 big games, people are thinking that they're kind of hitting the end of the lifespan for the PS4 already, which is weird to think about because the last generation lasted for 10 years before they announced anything. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, this generation is going to last the amount generations usually do, which is like 5 or 6 years. And we've hit that point already somehow. So everyone's thinking like they're already moving on to the PlayStation 5 and that'll be like next year, maybe. Which is annoying because I feel like they could honestly just go for the whole 10-year stretch again. And I'd be fine with that because I bought this fucking PS4 4 years ago. And I feel like games are just now coming out for the thing. I mean, I guess that it doesn't help that there are like so many projects finally coming out that were games we've known about for well over a decade, like Final Fantasy 15 and The Last Guardian. And well, I guess it doesn't really count. The Final Fantasy 7 remake might as well be something that's been being worked on for 15 years because it feels like it.
Oh, in your face. Final Fantasy 7. That thing that has a face.
Yeah. But yeah, Sony's is like so spelled out for the most part that there's not really much speculation. You can just kind of speculate what the games are going to be like. I mean, they're going to show Death Stranding, and I'm just wondering if like when you start seeing the gameplay footage for that, it's just going to be like, oh, that looks a lot like Metal Gear. Like Kojima said it's like, oh yeah, it's some kind of open world action game thing. It's like it's going to play a lot like Metal Gear, isn't it? But with like a twist.
Mm-hmm.
You have to manage Norman Reedus's umbilical cord collection.
Collection? Oh, no.
Yes. I mean, it's a thing. There's a lot of umbilical cords in all those trailers. What if you got to collect them?
To unlock concept art.
Yep.
Of umbilical cords.
You unlock a model viewer, and wow, finally, I can rotate Norman Reedus's naked 3D scanned body and all of the degrees. Zoom right in on that Reedus butt. But yeah, the other big thing. Oh, there is one thing I am excited for, like actual conference wise, and that is last year there is a new conference by Devolver Digital. Which, I mean, they do announce games there, but it was mostly just a joke shitting on E3 conferences. And it was pretty entertaining, and I just hope they can keep being that funny, because it's nice. It's like a half-hour thing. Like, they usually put out a couple pretty cool indie games every year, so I mean, there'll still be like actual games to care about too. But
what was the year where they did that, what, like 6 or 8 hour PC conference that just wouldn't end?
Oh, right. When was that? I can't remember if it was last year or the year before. I'm thinking it might have been last year.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that thing was super long.
I was at an Elvis Costello concert.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
During part of it, because it was just that long.
Yeah, the other big conference and stuff, like, I don't even know what to like guess or say with Microsoft now, because they don't do anything I ever care about, really. Mm-hmm. There are rumors, and the rumor is like, well, they've got Forza and they've got Gears of War, so there's going to be a new Forza game.
Oh, and it's going to be in the Gears of War universe. Oh my god, yes!
Just imagine, yeah, all the drivers will have to be in extra big Tonka trucks because all of their legs are as thick as tree trunks.
Yes.
You know what? I would be fine with that if there is some type of chop shop mode where he plays Marcus Phoenix, because he just seems like a guy who would work at like a place working on cars, listen to the classic rock station. Mm-hmm. He just seems like that type of dude.
Every car has chainsaws all over it. You cannot use the chainsaws in any sort of car combat. They're just decorative.
The tires are...
It's still Forza after all.
Yeah, the tires have chainsaws on them, but it's just for really good traction. Mm-hmm. And like the big rumor with Gears of War is that they're just like doubling down on it real hard. So it's not just like, oh, there's a new Gears of War. There's also going to be a new Gears of War that's a real-time strategy game. Mm-hmm. And then there's going to be a new Gears of War that's a battle royale game.
Telltale Gears of War story mode.
Yep. Yeah, finally. Oh, right. Yeah, I guess that'll be the thing everybody does this year. Everybody's going to come out with a battle royale game. Mm-hmm. I mean, Battlefield, the new Battlefield and the new Call of Duty, I don't even remember what they're named anymore. They both already had their conferences kind of like announcing this stuff like a few weeks ago. And yeah, Battlefield is just like, or not, Call of Duty is like, we don't have single player story anymore. And also we have a new mode. It's just Battlefield Battle Royale. I almost said Battlefield Royale, which is, I bet, what Battlefield's mode will be called.
It should be if they know what's good
for them. It should be. Fuck. If they don't do that, then it's just like, what are you even doing?
What are you doing? Why are you here?
What if Splatoon had a battle royale mode? That would probably actually be good.
So much paint. Just so much paint. It's everywhere.
You know what? Somebody should just combine the Dynasty Warriors games with a battle royale mode. Mm-hmm. It's just Dynasty Warriors with 100 actual players on it and not just 100 NPCs on the screen all at once.
Amazing.
That would work fine. But yeah, that's all I really have heard about Microsoft stuff. Nintendo has some stuff that's like maybe leaked, or people are just saying like, oh yeah, I've heard of that. I work in the games industry, and that is that Retro is working on 2 new games. One of them got canceled, and the one that's still happening is a new Star Fox game, except it's a racing game.
Ooh.
It's called like Star Fox Grand Prix or something like that. I guess it's supposed to be more like the Diddy Kong racing game, where it had like a big single player story mode thing too, and it wasn't just racing. So I don't know, that might work. The last couple Star Fox games haven't been hot, even the one that Platinum kind of helped with. So I don't know, Nintendo could like put out anything right now, it'd probably be pretty cool because they're on a pretty good streak right now. They already said they're gonna show the new Smash, and hopefully the working conditions for Sakurai are better this time, so that he doesn't just get wheeled on stage this year and you watch him just like work his fingers literally to the bone live while he's delicately balancing the size of Captain Falcon's ass or something.
It's such dynamic television, though. There's nothing like it.
Everyone on Twitch gets to vote on what he does next. Die, Sakurai, die. And yeah, there's like a couple other really vague rumors, but like Nintendo keeps their shit locked down pretty well. And like the only other thing is Square Enix's conference, which is like they already showed Kingdom Hearts 3. There's probably going to be a release date there. There'll probably be a Frozen world because people already like got leaked files from the actual game, and there's just files that say Frozen in it. So there you go.
Maybe that just means that there are other unrelated ice powers, so you need different textures and assets.
Maybe. I mean, it was like world files though, and they had other similar files for other worlds that were already confirmed with like the same like naming structure. So it's like almost definitely either that or Elsa's like either that or like Elsa's just like a summon or something. Wreck-It Ralph was a summon in that game, so I hope they don't. I really hope they don't do like what the Wreck-It Ralph 2 shit is doing, where they just like. I mean, it's already all Disney shit, but they just don't go to Disney World.
Yeah.
Unless they like, well, I don't know. Maybe a Disney World would be fun. I'm not sure. They also have summons that are like based on the rides at Disney World too. So that's
hell yeah.
You're halfway there already.
Announcement trailer had the electrical light parade, and guess what?
Yeah.
That means the game is the only thing that does. So
yeah, that got shut down last year.
Yeah, recently.
This year? Recently, yeah. What a shame. I never got to see it. And then, yeah, there's a decent amount of shit that's saying the Final Fantasy VII remake will be there because, like, a bunch of different stores keep accidentally putting up games for pre-order too early, and, like, 3 different stores have accidentally put up Final Fantasy VII remake on there. And, like, when Walmart did that, there were a bunch of other games that was just, like, had not been announced, and one of them was like Prey 2, and then like a week later Prey 2 got announced. Or not Prey 2, Rage 2. Excuse me, the other 4-letter word game.
I've heard a lot of 4-letter words in my day.
Yeah.
Hard to keep them straight.
So yeah, maybe it seems probable at this point that the remake will be there. That would be cool. That's the thing I'm like invested in the most. I just don't want it to be bad, but if it's bad, the original game's still there, so whatever. But I like one of the reasons why I used to enjoy E3 a lot is like a factor that's diminishing a lot, and that is everyone's figuring out how to do their conferences in a way that gets made fun of less.
Sad times.
I mean, Ubisoft used to be the big one. They would have Aisha Tyler host it, and that was always a little awkward. And they had Tobuscus that one year alongside her.
Oh, yes, the year of infamy.
And they always had really awkward bits. They had that weird laser tag bit several years ago where they were running around screaming in like the audience, and everyone just looked confused and uncomfortable. And yeah, it's Ubisoft doesn't have Aisha Tyler hosting it anymore since last year. They've reined in all the bits a lot, so now it's just guys talking about the game.
Hooray!
Hooray!
Sometimes the people they have talking about the games are pretty interesting. Like, it's sad that the Viking sword fight game is out because now that guy doesn't get to talk at E3 anymore.
Oh yeah, I mean, I did like him, and it's a shame that, like, I mean, there's going to be Forza, but it doesn't really usually happen with Forza. But one of my favorite E3 traditions that I'm hoping hasn't quite died out yet is when a guy comes on stage to talk about the new racing game he's working on, and he gets real horny about cars on stage.
Mm-hmm.
Like when when Drive Club, when the PS4 was coming out, got announced, and like they spent like a solid 5 minutes just doing like, look, here's our walk around mode where you can just walk around the car and just look at the leather, and oh man, and just get uncomfortably aroused by cars, but on stage.
Do not do the walk around hot. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah. And I don't think it's going to be happening again, because there was just like a very short phase where games were starting to be all about this. And it was like when Watch Dogs first got announced, so did Infamous Second Son. And both of those games, when they were first announced, they didn't even like, either the director was on there or it was just like a video playing. And neither time they were ever talking about a video game. It was just like, the United States is surveilling you all like 24/7.
Yeah.
Everything's fucking terrible. This is terrifying. We're living in a real cyberpunk future. Anyways, here's Watch Dogs. Aiden Pierce is here, and he's gonna kill a child's mother. And it was just like this really weird tonal whiplash where it's like they make like a scare piece to scare the shit out of you first, and it's like, here's this video game where you have superpowers and you make really bad Frank Banksy paintings as collectibles.
Well, I mean, that's the whole point of Far Cry, at least Far Cry announcements.
Yeah, that's true. It's too bad Far Cry 5 just came out, so it'll be a bit before we get one of those.
Yeah.
And we're not going to have any like weird... One of the other things I do enjoy about E3 is whenever David Cage would announce a new game, because it was just always like a trailer that's promising so much, and you know it's never going to deliver. And I mean, Detroit just came out, so we're not going to get anything from him, I think. I was actually looking it up. He puts a game out exactly every 5 years, pretty much.
And every one is exactly 200,000 pages.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't know this, but because I got it for free, so my girlfriend and I were playing through the last David Cage game that came out, Beyond Two Souls. I did not know until somebody tweeted at me about it, that like when he was looking to get Ellen Page on the game, the way he like introduced himself to her was to show her a photo album he put together of her baby pictures that he put together himself.
How did he acquire her baby pictures?
I don't know. I don't know how. He just had like lots of pictures of her in various stages of her childhood.
And
that
why
were public
did
somehow.
She say, yes, I will do this, and not, sir, where are the French police? You've committed a crime here in France.
I never hear any of the stories of how he like introduced himself to Willem Dafoe. Did he have Willem Dafoe baby pictures?
There's no such thing.
Yeah,
Willem Dafoe was born like that.
So he just had that face.
Watch the Florida Project. It's brilliant. You'll love it. Willem Dafoe's the best.
I really should watch that. I like Willem Dafoe a lot, but I just haven't seen a lot of stuff with him in it, actually. Which is also a shame about that game.
I guess you should start with The Last Temptation of Christ then. But recently,
yeah.
The Florida Project is amazing.
Cool. That does remind me, it's a shame that both him and Ellen Page are in that game, because they're actually both acting the hell out of it. But it's just like David Cage shit. So it just feels really wasted and just like, oh, it could have been something good during this time. But yeah, I like with E3, there's not too much I feel like I can bet on this time around, just because it feels like, aside from Nintendo, everyone's like kind of just like wrapping up their consoles right now, and they're just like, it feels like both Sony and Microsoft are probably just like saving the big shit for next year, the year after, when they show off the new consoles. So it's just like, oh, well, I'll look out for all 3 new Gears of War games, I guess.
We don't even get to speculate about whether we'll see Beyond Good and Evil 2. That's the whole game. That's the fun part. Right,
yeah. Beyond Good and Evil 2 will probably, be shown there in some capacity, because they did a stream on, they like every 5 months or so, they've just been doing a stream showing stuff they did. And it's like, last time it's like, here's like super rough, super early like gameplay concepts. We're trying to see if they're cool. Here's like all the bajillion different types of spaceships we made and how you can customize them. And it's like, all right, it looks like a video game. I don't know if it really looks like Beyond Good and Evil yet, but yeah, I mean, now it's just like, it's out there, and all of a sudden I don't have to torture myself every year about it. There's like nothing for me to like really freak out about anymore, because it's like there. There is one thing that would make me lose my mind still, that is like a thing that like I know will probably never happen, and that's Metal Gear Rising 2.
Yeah.
That's like the big thing now. If that ever happened.
Oh, the great sadness of having the things you want to have happen.
Yeah.
What a shame. What a tragedy. Oh.
No, it is a relief, though, that Beyond Good and Evil 2 got announced, because even if it's not like good or at least something I'm interested in, at least now it's just like, hey, it's there. Ta-da. Maybe they'll put out a sequel to that page trailer.
You got the swearing monkey off your back. Is that what you're trying to say? Okay.
Yep. He's finally he's gone. But yeah, I mean, there'll probably be some cool stuff, but nothing is just like, I don't know. I'm not super excited for it yet. maybe it's just a slow year or something. I'm sure it'll still be good shit, but
are you planning to stream during E3 at all?
Yeah,
this
year I will be streaming E3. I'll post like the actual schedule for that on our Patreon and on Twitter pretty soon. We're gonna talk over, Voidberg and I are gonna talk over all of the like the major ones. There's like 2 or 3 other conferences. It's like the PC gamer one, and there's like 2 other things. It's like, what the fuck even are these? And like, they never announce anything there. It's just like, I don't even know what they do there, honestly.
What are you for?
We won't be talking over those ones.
What?
But yeah, I'll totally be streaming over it. It does feel weird, like I probably won't be talking as much shit over stuff, maybe, as
You've
before.
Gone soft. You lost your edge.
I mean, I probably still will, but maybe not as hard as before, at least on certain things, because now it's like I more understand, like, oh, there's a lot of people whose like jobs depend on this now. And now I just feel bad, because now it's just like, I know so many of these people have crunched for an extremely long time, and they should all unionize. Please. But I know it's hard to get going in that industry, so
what you got to do, though, is you got to save your most cutting barbs and post them anonymously on sock puppets so that they get fired and then you get their job.
Yeah, that's how I'm gonna get it employed again.
Yeah.
I got a new plan. Okay, well, it's too bad David Cage isn't making a game, because I'd love to take his spot. I am confident I could do something better than David Cage.
All you have to do is put out the same awful games, but with less sexual harassment in the workplace, and you're better than David Cage.
That's true. You're right. It's so simple. Oh, something else fucked up in that David Cage game I just played. It seems the criticisms of how much pissing he puts in his games got to him, because there is no pissing.
What? It's incomplete.
There was almost a piss, but it's like anytime you have pissed in a David Cage game, like, it is a part of like the interactivity of the world. You have to press buttons and do motions on the analog stick, to get the toilet paper and all that shit. And like, you were just watching your character take a piss and flush the toilet and then wash their hands. In this game, it's just like, you go to take a piss, you crouch down, and then plot stuff happens, and you don't see the piss happen.
What?
And the game's focused on something else, and it's like, this doesn't even feel like a David Cage game anymore.
He's gone soft. He's lost his edge.
Yeah. The only trademark David Cage things. Well, okay, there's still a decent amount in that game. The best part was, it's a game about this is really off topic, but it's a game about Ellen Page being a girl born with a ghost like tethered to her, and she can kind of control it, but it has its own will. And Willem Dafoe, a science man, like for the U.S.
certified scienceman.
Yeah, he's a certified scienceman. He's like studying her and her abilities, and she eventually like gets inducted into the CIA to be a special agent, and then after that, she's like on the run from them for some event that happens in the game. And there's a part where it's just like, okay, she's on the run from the CIA, and she's just like walking through a desert trying to hitchhike, and you come across a ranch in the middle of nowhere in this desert, and all the people live there are Navajo Indians. And out of nowhere, this thing has been all like very sci-fi and stuff. It turns into a 3-hour chapter that has nothing to do with the rest of the game, in which you have to help. You live with these Navajo Indians on their ranch, help them do work, and then it turns out every night they have to board up their windows because there's a gigantic Navajo evil spirit ghost haunting the hell out of them. And you spend 3 hours performing rituals with their mute grandma and like dodging giant ghost-shaped dust storms, and it has nothing to do with the rest of the game. It's just weird, like, it feels like a bad episode of the X-Files. You know, those episodes where it's like, oh, this black guy's killing lots of people, but he's turning white and stuff like that. that episode, or that I don't know if you've seen the episode where it was like, it was in Mexico and it was about a chupacabra, but it was trying to kind of take and it was like really heavy-handed with his message. I hate that one.
I really like the cold open for that one, though.
I don't remember what the cold open is for that one.
I think it's the one where it rains blood in their little Spanish village. It's really good. And then the rest of the episode happens, but like
okay, yeah, I kind of remember that cold opening a little bit. It's definitely no black man as an alien who plays baseball.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
That one punches you right in the face.
Yeah. I would have to rewatch that episode, but I think I remembered really liking that episode.
I mean, yeah, it's just, dang, they went some places with that opening.
I think that was an episode directed
were ill-advised, I'd say.
Yeah. I think David Duchovny directed that episode wrote it.
He did.
Yeah.
He did both of those things.
Man. Anyways, David Duchovny's going to be at E3. That's right. He's voicing his character again in a sequel to Area 51.
What?
There is a first-person shooter on the PS2 called Area 51, and he voices a character in that game.
I thought Area 51 was like arcade exclusive.
Oh no, they made an Area 51 first-person shooter for consoles too, and they actually build it as a Halo killer.
Lovely.
It's not good. David Duchovny really phones it in that game.
I was really
too.
expecting you to say 13 for the David Duchovny VO game.
Right, yeah. Or I mean, I guess there. Actually, yeah, I remember there is news fairly recently that they're making another X-Files video game. So maybe he'll be in that. Who knows? He was in both of the previous X-Files games, which I still need to like let's play at some point. They're great. They're not good, but they're entertaining.
But they're great.
Yeah. Especially because the second one is just like a straight up Resident Evil ripoff. They even do like the Chris and Jill campaign, but it's the Mulder and Scully campaigns where everything's slightly arranged for them.
I thought the Scully campaign could have went better if she would have visited Michigan more than once.
Yeah, that really screwed her over. Oh. Anyways, enough about the 2016 election.
We are recording this on a primary day, and
it's true.
Also a very important election day if you live in Ontario.
Yeah, so I mean, if you're in one of those places, I hope you voted. But you should vote. Voting is good. Yeah, I guess that's E3. I don't know. It's just kind of up in the air for me. Final Fantasy VII Remake, that's the thing I care about. Maybe Cloud will still cross-dress or something. I don't know.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Never even played that game, but I'd hate for such a beloved scene to go away.
Yeah, I mean, it's there's a lot of stuff you do during that whole segment that if it were in a video game now, people would be like, But it would still feel weird if it were gone.
Yeah.
You can, it's like, it's still okay to like things that got weird shit in them. You just gotta acknowledge and understand why that shit is weird. People might side-eye it. But anyways, E3, I'll be streaming it. Just look at my Twitter or something. I'll post it on the discussion tab on our YouTube too when all that stuff is happening. Because it's kind of spread out this year too. It's like Saturday through Tuesday. It was usually just like a 3-day thing, but I think EA has a day all to itself this Saturday. So like the least exciting one
is the one on Saturday. Jesus.
Yeah, EA's on Saturday. And it's the only one on Saturday. So get ready for a lot of comparing previous Madden animations to the new Madden animations that are just ever slightly so better, but you're never going to notice. Not when you're playing it. Yeah, E3. I don't know how to segment from E3 to your thing.
I have two small things. Well, I have one thing that I'm going to keep very small. Okay. About 13.8 pounds, actually.
Okay.
No, we're recording this on a very special day in my home. It is the 1-year anniversary of when my dog came home with us. I've mentioned her a few times on this show, and if you follow me on Twitter, it's unavoidable. You know all about my little fluff nugget Moki. But I just want to commemorate this by telling the story of how we got her and some other stories. It's strange and a little frustrating how very quickly and very deeply I became that guy with this dog so fast and so hard.
I mean, I didn't want to say it, but like based on like Twitter stuff, I've been like, oh, he's that guy now.
Oh yeah. Within a week, in like the first month. She's been keeping me company on my lap for this recording. She doesn't always do that, but I thought since I was planning to do this, it seemed appropriate.
Yeah.
But yeah, a year ago they were doing this adoption event at the Anti-Cruelty Society here in Chicago, which is a wonderful organization, great program, one of the oldest of its kind, et cetera, et cetera. But we went after spending a couple of days like planning to go and spending that whole time just Elaine and I telling each other, you know, you never know what they might have. There might not be anything that's like right for us. You know, don't get your hopes up. But as we went around all the cages, all the little crates to where the little fellas were, there she was, and she was so fluffy, and she was happy to see people. She was actually being brought in because this day was also a volunteer training day.
Oh, okay.
So like an employee was telling this volunteer, okay, here's how you handle them, and do this first, and then that, and that's how we get them in their box, you know. And we just waited for them to finish that. Like, could you get her out of the box though? So they have this little courtyard. Like the building is sort of shaped like a donut, so they have this open air courtyard inside that is also technically outside. Where we just, you know, chilled out with her, and we realized that she does not respond to the name they had on file for her, which is great because that name sucked.
What was it?
Bammy.
Ew.
Bami. Bammy.
No, that's a bad name for any pet.
It's
really
awful. It's no.
It's a bad name.
But yeah, we just hung out with her, and she has this wonderful like energy and cute face, and we really connected with her. And then like this, and we knew nothing about her. They knew nothing about her. Like this was a Saturday. She arrived at the shelter on a Thursday from another shelter. Like They knew she wasn't spayed. They knew she had extra baby teeth that hadn't fallen out yet. She's just like a shark.
Oh, geez.
Extra rows of teeth. And that's really all they knew. So we made up our minds like, yep, we're getting a dog. And talked to the people you got to talk to, and had a little interview and filled out some forms where we changed her name to Moki because Fraggles are good and everyone loves them.
Oh, that's where it's from.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking it might have been from.
Moki is the stoned out hippie Fraggle.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, and then because she wasn't spayed, we had to wait 2 days. She could not come home until she's spayed, and the doctor would next be in on Monday, 2 days later. But that was kind of good because it gave us time to go shopping.
Oh, yeah. It's probably easier that way.
Yeah, they congratulations on adopting your dog. Here's a big stack of coupons. Like, hell yes. Give me 20% off this and $10 off of that. Hell yes. Did a bunch of shopping, and by the end of the day, our apartment looked like a dog lived there. So Monday, this drowsy little pup. Oh, so sleepy, so anesthetized.
That's the best kind of pet, when they're super anesthetized and they can't stay awake. It's great.
Yeah. We got her home. She had a few less of a few things. They did pull her superfluous deciduous teeth while she was under.
Woof.
Yeah. That's what she said. Hey, oh, it's like that's punchline for a different kind of joke. What's up? I'm a genius. I'm a genius.
You see, dogs say woof sometimes.
Sometimes. But
sometimes bork.
She's actually really quiet. She's remarkably quiet, unless she believes it is playtime.
Yeah, I'm actually very thankful your dog's super quiet too, because it makes editing your audio easy.
Yeah. Just there's sometimes she shakes, and that's really it, basically.
Yeah. Like the anytime I can hear her, I actually just like leave it in because it's usually cute. It's usually just like a squeakoo, or whatever in the background. So
she does love her squeaky toys. My God. I try to put them away when there's going to be a recording, especially a long one where I'm not going to want to get up and do it in the middle. And she gives me this fucking look. God damn it, dog. I feed you, okay? You're only alive because I said so. It's not true. Anti-Cruelty Society is a no-kill shelter. They're a wonderful program.
Oh, good.
But yeah, she changed my life. Like, every time I come home, there's somebody literally bouncing off the walls to say hello to me. And it's not because she really needs to go out. She just is that way. Yeah. Like sometimes Elena and I will be walking her together, and I, run ahead or fall behind to like throw something in a trash can or whatever. And just when I turn around because I was 15 feet away, she freaks out just as much. It's adorable.
That's dogs for you. My dogs back with my parents do the same fucking thing. So. But yeah, I've been wanting to get a pet also, since we live in a place where they don't allow pets, and they don't allow pets, and it's hard to be sneaky and have a pet because they have people come around
that's
unscheduled.
right.
Yeah, they come in without a schedule, random times of the day, frequently when people are at work, and they can come in without you being there because they have keys.
Right.
And like they spray for bugs, but they are so clearly looking to see if you have pets, because they spray like one fucking corner of that place and it doesn't smell like anything. I think it's just water. And like they just leave. Yeah, it sucks. Like, I mean, there's definitely, they never go any farther than the living room. So like, I have a big closet I could just put animals in, but like I always have to react anytime somebody knocks on the fucking door and go like, oh, gotta put this animal in the closet or something. Because otherwise I'd have a cat or two right now.
Yeah.
But
no, like it's weird. I've become a lot more active in the neighborhood Like
well, yeah, because you gotta take that
park
dog
is
out.
like this whole social community. Like every day, I don't just find out about like what my wife's been up to. I find out about Natasha, and I find out about Mary, and I find mostly I hear about their dogs, but there is some human gossip going around.
Right.
So if you want to follow my dog on Instagram, you can. The end.
Oh, right. You actually do have an
Yeah.
Instagram. Yeah.
Elena got bored one day, and so the dog has an Instagram, and only the greatest hits go on our social media pages, but
right.
everything's on Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
The thing is, she's adorable, so there's a lot of greatest hits.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got some stuff planned, like I think later today she's going to get some squirts of the canned whipped cream on a plate. She goes nuts for that.
Oh, man.
Frozen blueberries inside ice cubes. She lives for frozen blueberries, especially when it's hot. It's the weirdest thing.
Are blueberries are okay for dogs? I thought those were bad.
Apparently they're good, and antioxidants or whatever.
Okay. For some reason I thought dogs didn't like, or rather blueberries were bad for dogs. Huh.
No.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna feed my parents' dogs blueberries.
Now
I almost said Blu-rays.
Yes, those are bad for dogs. Dog. I will say those are bad. Not a lot of nutritional value, and very sharp by the time it gets in there.
Really sharp. They're not going to appreciate anything on that disc.
But my bigger thing, my much more current thing. Sorry, kid, you've been around a year. You're old news.
Get out of here.
I'm contributing to a new tabletop game on Kickstarter now called Final Bid. And rather than just plug it, I wanted to talk about why this game excites me so much, why I'm so interested in it. Mm-hmm. So interested enough that I demanded the chance to write on it. This was not an offer. This is me like kicking down the door. I will work on this game. I will make part of it mine.
I was curious if they contacted you or how that came about.
No, this is by Jacob Randolph, also known as Gnome. He is one of the members of the Six Feats family, one of my Mouse Guard players, and the GM of the Fellowship campaign that Feats listeners are hopefully enjoying. Also the writer and designer of Fellowship and several other things. But the reason it is called Final Bid is as a reference to its central mechanic. It is an auction-based system. Basically, the way it goes is everybody at the beginning, you pick a role for this film. Like if you were to be, say, playing let's take one, for example, the Laws Out set of playbooks, the Western. You might have the gunslinger, the stranger, the preacher, the devil. Everybody picks one, right? And play continues in a circle. Everyone's setting a scene, but once the scene is set, everyone gets to buy in with a bid if they so choose. They wager something that their character has, a tangible thing, an intangible thing, a character trait, whatever is on your sheet or comes to mind is something that they reasonably have and could come into play. Then the people who aren't in this scene come to a consensus of who wins, who got the winning bid, essentially, who gave up the most or the most compelling set of wagers. And that person has the most narrative control. They get to decide how this scene plays out, how all these bids come into play, and then also to seize resources or inflict harm, as well as maybe some other things, depending on their playbook. Everybody has some extra powers. The doctor has some doctory powers. The devil gets to really mess with the narrative in less constrained ways.
Right.
There's also a narrator playbook. That's the closest this game gets to a GM is things like the narrator or the machine if you're in the dystopian sci-fi game, or the monster in the horror movie. But I love this system for how simple it is and the things that come out of it, right? It's really easy to wrap your head around because there's no stats, there's no numbers. I love anything that is consensus based as its mechanic, because you're just making people talk about their characters, talk about the scene and the narrative and motivation, and so it gets people invested.
Right. That seems nicer than other tabletop stuff, where sometimes even the good stuff you might like just get stuck talking about like the rules and shit for a bit.
There's no I roll to hit, the I hit for the 7.
Right. Yeah.
Which is fun and can be, but this system always is I'm wagering my last bullet. And then we find out exactly what that last bullet does after we've had a few stages of conversation about what it means to wager my last bullet. Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds cool.
And how that is distinct from a hail of bullets, which someone else may have bet in the same scene.
Yeah.
So the stages basically are, I would use the metaphor of like an artist making a finished, picture. Setting the scene is akin to just like roughing out the composition, and then when you're wagering, you're adding another layer of details as you're figuring out what elements are in play. And then once you have a winning bid and you're playing through the scene itself, there's your finished piece. There's your colors and inks, etc. to finish the metaphor. But basically, it's the closest thing a tabletop game gets to rehearsal. So, you kind of know where some things are going, and there are still surprises, but like your brain can focus on the minutia. Let me come up with a good line. I know the direction. Let me make the moment really work.
Right.
So you can get some fantastic scenes out of this system. Also, because nothing can happen worse to you, at least as the winner, than what you put in. You're going to have people really raising like, I'm going to bet half my face in this scene where I've also bet a stick of dynamite. I think I'm going to win, and I get to say how this happens, but nobody can kill me because nobody wagered my death, and the only person who can wager my death is me.
Okay. Huh.
So it's a great way of playing exactly like even if you don't win. Sorry about that pause. I just had to put somebody down for one of those huge greetings I mentioned earlier.
Oh.
Hi, darling. Hi. Somebody missed you. Where was I? Oh, I was talking about how the framing protects people. And when there are those boundaries, you're willing to take more risks, right? You're willing to push the boundaries because they are there. There's no like, I got to poke everything with a 10-foot pole because anything could kill me. I know it's going to kill me. I'm going to kill me.
Yeah.
And then I'm still in the game. I've had times where I've had times where I'm the player that has died, but now I'm setting scenes where my character's memory is important, or this scene is a flashback. I'm not dead yet in this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds neat. It's appealing to me, especially just because like I don't play a ton of tabletop stuff, but when like other friends of mine try like, hey, you want to play this tabletop thing? It's always something where I get a little turned off just because there's a lot of not even like focusing on or thinking about the narrative or the story stuff, which is the stuff I like about these types of games, and more just the like, how the fuck do I play this? What's the sequence of events you have to do every turn and shit like that? And
yeah.
And just having it being more of this communal narrative thing sounds cool to me.
It's really cool. It's probably my favorite game engine right now. And
Ooh.
I mean, the one time this show did a GOTY, I talked about Worldwide Wrestling, and it has been supplanted. Right. It has been supplanted.
Dang. And that sounded pretty fun.
It's great. I love that game so much. There's no harm in being number 2. No shame. None at all.
Yeah.
But if you'd like to check it out yourself, again, just go to Kickstarter, search Final Bid. It is Final Bid, the cinematic auction game by Jacob Randolph, for Created, etc., etc.
Right.
I mentioned the Laws Out set of playbooks for doing the Western setting. That is how this game started. It started as like I want to say something like 16, 20 page book. And most of that was just the sheets for individual roles. Because the framing is you are making a lost, forgotten movie. Here are your roles in the script, right?
Okay.
And the script is what happens when you're finished. You know how the movie went. So it started with just Laws Out, and I loved it. And it sat on the shelf for a while they went on to do a few other projects in the meantime. But working on this in the background to like refine it after, play testing and act, more experience with the game, and then adding another handful of genres. So we've got, I mentioned there's sci-fi horror, there's a cyberpunk dystopia, noir mystery, and spy thriller. And my expansion that I'm working on is called Glenbrook, and it is a teen melodrama.
Hey,
because I wanted to see how this works in a genre that may or may not have guns and bombs and such action elements. It may, like, you can go Heathers with this.
Yeah, totally.
But you don't have to.
Yeah.
I mean, not in the way that if there's a spy thriller, there's going to be a shootout in the end, and probably the beginning and the middle. There's gonna be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why are you staring at me, weirdo? Your people are home. Just chill out. I'm talking about games I like, dog. Gosh. But if you would like to try out the game, of course, like many Kickstarters, there's a preview free to backers, but you can just get that original couple years old Laws Out game for free now on DriveThruRPG. It is for the length of this campaign, which is to say 25 days to go. That is standalone, available for free.
Okay.
I'm really excited to get back to work writing Glenbrook. I don't know if I mentioned that that's the name of the teen melodrama expansion I'm writing. I'm real excited to get back to coming up with things that are based on other movies but named for Breakfast Club quotes, because it is so quotable.
Yeah.
But
now, did you already actually like hit that RT goal for you to be working on that?
Yeah, that's about 3 quarters. That's right. My thing is unlocked as a social goal. So if you retweet a certain tweet that is linked on the page, it's also the thing quote tweeted in my pinned tweet. How many times can I say tweet? Once that gets 200 retweets, there's another one. I'm officially in, but we're at, like I say, we 158, maybe 156, something in that range.
We got up there pretty quick. So
oh yeah, people are excited for this one. It is obviously inspired by my love of the genre. Like, its name is both a John Hughes and Riverdale reference, because the name is synonyms for Dale and River, but there is an actual Glenbrook in the Chicago suburbs, just like Shermer, Illinois, and all the other fictional suburbs that those John Hughes movies are set in. Yeah. But this one's real, damn it. No, I'm trying to work out. Every movie has a special rule, right? Things that define the genre and make, aside from just your character sheets, make it play out a little differently. So I'm trying to work on one where anytime characters share a moment of intimacy, which depending on your game, they might be, doing some 7 minutes in heaven, but like with their dicks, or they're just like opening up about how much they hate their dad and how much they hate that they hate their dad.
Right.
That like their anxiety gets added to the other characters' list of things they can bid. They can use that against you, because stabbing people in the back is definitely a major part of a teen melodrama.
Yeah. It's what makes everything fucking happen.
Yeah.
All right. Well, cool. How much longer on that Kickstarter? You said 25 days?
It's got 25 days to go.
Okay. What's the goal on that?
5K.
5K.
And
okay.
I mean, I would love for people to check this out. I'd love more for people to play it. I think it's a great game to get people invested in the idea of role playing as both the hobby and the activity of playing a role, and getting invested in this person I made up 10 minutes ago. I really want to see what happens to them. I really want them to make shit happen. And when you get to that point, it's such a magical feeling. And this is a system that really lends itself to making that happen in a very compelling way, at least in my opinion. So yeah, check it out, spread it around, and hopefully we'll hit that goal and we'll go beyond it. So Jacob has to do more writing. There are further stretch goals for exceeding the goal naturally.
Oh, okay.
And those are going to be voted on by backers. Like they'll put out, here are some genres I was thinking of, let's vote. So if you really want to get, a superhero movie or a zombie movie or a more pulpy horror like the Mummy in there, keep on racking up that total to pay for his rent while he writes the dang thing.
Right. All right, cool. Should we go on and answer this pretty big email we got?
Let's answer this pretty big email we got.
All right, this is from a person named TV.
Oh, I love TV.
Me too. I don't watch it too much, but I mean, when I do, it's good. TV says, nice to see the podcast and LPs back on the regular. Since you guys were away, I got into watching speedruns and world record progression series. I feel like the topic may have come up before, but what games would you aspire to learn and perform for a speedrun event? Asking each of you, or potentially both, for these unique co-op speedruns. I mean, I've said it before. If there's any game I'm going to speedrun, it's going to be 50 Cent Blood in the Sand.
You're going to get that skull as quickly as possible.
Yeah. Bitch won't even be able to take the skull, because I'll have it instead.
Some exploit that skips the cutscene so you never actually lose the skull.
Whoa. Yeah, that's the thing that I think would be a lot of fun to learn how to speedrun, because it's also a game that doesn't really seem to have any people really speedrunning it. The last time I looked, there was somebody from several years ago that had like the world record, but it seemed like they just played through it quickly normally. And that, like, even just watching bits of it, it's just like, oh yeah, this is just the record because not too many other people have tried. And I would love to see if there's really weird exploits in that game. And it's also a co-op game, and I would love to see if you can somehow run it faster when there's two human players.
The first time Tony Yayo has been useful.
Yeah. Because it's like, I don't know if Games Done Quick has ever done any co-op game speedruns. They must have.
Oh, what if one of the strats is you have to pick Tony Yayo because he's just better?
He moves a little bit faster.
DJ Woo Kid is crying.
Tony Yayo only has an exploit where he can phase through matter when he's swearing fast enough. But yeah, it's like there were QA testers I knew who worked at Volition, and while we never got around to doing it, we actually had plans of maybe submitting a Saints Row 2 speedrun to try and get on Games Done Quick, because they had done QA testing for Saints Row 2, which is a co-op game, and they knew like strats to like significantly run the game faster when you have 2 players.
Oh, that's fantastic.
One of the like main strategies of it just being both players have different routes, because like story missions wouldn't unlock unless you had a certain amount of respect, and you got respect by doing mini games, and each player could be playing separate mini games and doing different tasks at the same time. And there was also some other thing where like if a player died, or if a player entered a building, the other player would warp to them. So there were strats of like, they both had different routes, but they would both finish these things at the right, at a certain time, so that one player could do something and then warp that person back to them on the other side of the map, so then they could both do something together, like the next main mission or something. It sounded really cool. I never actually got to see it in action, but
that does sound fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Blood in the Sand absolutely is the thing I would want to speedrun.
I feel like I'd want to pick something that's either really goofy, like can you speedrun Firewatch just because that's a good joke, or something that I played a lot as a kid that was janky enough to probably have some really interesting and surprising strategies, like fucking caveman games for the NES. I played that a lot as a kid.
Oh man.
Or the Spider-Man game we LP'd, right? Like,
yeah. I bet there's some fun shit in there. Did you see last Games Done Quick? They did a speedrun of Superman 64, and it was incredible.
Oh no, I didn't watch.
It's a pretty quick watch too. It's only like 30 minutes or something, but there's some really interesting, really funny skips. Some of them just being like, there's very specific areas where Superman can just like fly backwards through walls and complete missions in like 5 seconds. But yeah, it's a really good one to watch. It was a lot of fun.
In short time, not that short. No, Superman, no.
Come back, my rings.
Your fate is not yet sealed, Superman.
My rings desire someone to fly through them. They yearn for this. Oh man, but yeah, that was there's several questions in this email, but yeah, there's the first one.
Let's go.
They also said, I also recently watched Callbox's and Panzer's complete Sven co-op LP, and it was an amazing take on a game with no beginning or end. Have you considered any strange games like this to LP recently? Metal Gear Online and Uncharted multiplayer, the closest comparisons, I think, just because there's weird shit that happens there. Maybe I could count The Fight, but it's been a while either way. I've been trying to find something really weird and stupid for us to do, because like it's always fun to do those in between other things or like on the side.
I love The Fight so much.
Yeah,
I will never stop thinking that's the funniest thing we ever did. It's The Fight.
It is definitely, if not the most, one of my favorite videos we've ever done. And I'm really happy that after all that, you actually can hug.
Right?
Would it have fucking sucked if we did that video and then you can't hug?
It's the only way to defeat Danny Trejo. You must hug.
You have to melt his cold heart.
Hey, I saw your moves and I wasn't very impressed, but then I saw your heart.
Nice hug.
I'm impressed by your capacity to love. I'm not impressed by your Danny Trejo impression. I'm not even trying at this point.
I cannot do a Danny Trejo impression. I think I've tried a few times. But yeah, weird shit. I mean, I have a lot of stuff, and I haven't really like gone through it. But I mean, I think there's a couple things, we could do at some point on the side, because it's always nice to do those things, because they're usually really short games too. Like Rogue Warrior was only like 6 episodes, and they were like 15 minutes each or something.
That was 5 too many.
Fucking somebody paid Mickey Rourke to talk about how his balls are like taffy.
Okay, maybe it was exactly the right length.
But yeah, I'm just not sure what we would pick right now. I would have to look for a while, but I mean, it has been a while. The fight was the last thing we did, and that was like 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. And also the last question is, lastly, is there anything coming up for our old Retsupre channel? Like I said, we've recorded some really good stuff, and I just need to edit it.
Yeah, there's so much. What was the Atari Jaguar, right?
Yeah, Atari Jaguar is
doing that video.
Yeah, Atari Jaguar is real good because it just became a story about a man being trapped in like a indoctrination dungeon for the Jaguar.
Mm-hmm.
And also the Jaguar was like a hot woman that could transform into a console and a hot woman.
Yes, I've read this bit of folklore. I know this legend.
Yeah, there's a couple other things too that I still remember, but the Jaguar one definitely being like one of the big ones. I still have the files. I still have the videos. It's just it's always kept falling repeatedly by the wayside because it's just for so long was like, fuck, I need to do Metal Gear.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck. But now Metal Gear started and it's going. So hooray. But yeah, it's at some point maybe I'll like gather those files back up and see if I can put one together really quick this weekend or something.
Yeah.
Well, not this weekend, but soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not when the E3 is happening. And yeah, he just says he's eager to see whatever stuff we can put together. And
me too.
Me too. I'm excited for doing some more dumb shit time down the line. It's too bad, like, I think Cabela's games aren't being made anymore. And also, none of them have topped Dangerous Hunts. So, like, there's no point anymore.
We could always just play more of that wildlife photography game from
Fuck that.
From Extra Life 2.
Fuck. That was even like bad in an entertaining way, except for like, the only thing. It was
very mansplaining. That was amazing.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. That was like the one funny thing about it is that like the two narrators. But you can't blame it
because they wrote that woman to be the dumbest person who ever lived.
Yeah, it's like what I don't. Like she's
why
there
are those
like
people so big with such strange noses? Those are elephants, lady. They're elephants. You're being very dumb right now.
Oh, fuck. That reminds me we should probably figure out what we should be doing for next Extra Life.
Yeah.
I mean, I figure the tradition of like getting some game that has Gex in it somehow, we can get the kart racer this time.
Mm-hmm.
We'll just start or end with the kart racer. But as for theme, I don't know. X-Files theme. We'll just play all the X-Files games.
Sure,
which there are two.
Yeah.
I don't think that would fit 24 hours, though.
We finished season 6. We can... Well, yeah. I think they're both set before then, right?
The first game is set in between season... Oh, I forget which season it is. Whatever season came before the movie.
Okay.
It's set in
I
remember
time.
now. It's no, it was produced in between season whatever and that movie, but you can figure out like because it just says it somewhere in the game. It's basically like an extra episode for season 3.
Mm-hmm.
So like when like Mr. X or whatever his name is.
Yeah, I love X, man.
Yeah, he was cool. I liked him. And yeah, the second game is it's supposed to be more episodes for like season 6 or 7 because it got made like after the show had been canceled. Basically, it was like a 2002 or 3 game or something. But yeah, it's supposed to be like during like the last season when they still had Duchovny as a regular.
Yeah,
before he got mad and left. But yeah, maybe something like that, or I think one theme I had an idea for was like doing games that have celebrities in them, but like their actual likeness in the game, not just like voicing. Like weird FMV games that somehow got real life actors or something like that, because there's actually a decent amount of those, and they're all pretty weird and funny. And then look, we could bring Gex's voice actor back into the fray.
Yeah, why not?
Get Dana Gould.
What's he doing? Oh, he's a successful television writer, and well. But come on, it's for fun.
Come on, it's for fun. Remember this thing you probably hate thinking of? Come on.
Remember how we convinced you to kind of mention it one time 2 years ago? Could you do that again?
Good times.
Good times.
Can't believe we had to fucking talk to his agent.
No, his assistant.
His assistant, that's right. It was his assistant, not his agent. Oh, man.
If it was his agent, we might have actually got him to show up.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, boy. But anyways, that was the email for this week. If you would want to send us questions for us to answer on later episodes, you can email us at chipandironicus, or excuse me, I got that backwards. It is chipchiesum@chipandironicus.com.
Yeah, I don't read these. I don't read these till you give them to me.
Yeah.
I got my own emails to read. New History Honeys came out today. It's a fun one.
Oh, right.
It's our second anniversary of the show.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
God, already. I feel like the last 2 or 3 years have gone by way too quickly, and I'm going to be dead any moment, I think. It's bad. Don't like it. But yeah, just go ahead and send those there, or if, you tweet them at me, I'll try and keep a hold of them, but, it's harder. I favorite a lot of cat gifs, so they're going to get buried under that, maybe.
For a letter, we just have, oh, it fell off the table.
Oh no, he fell off the table. Look at him. And yeah, I'll be streaming E3 stuff. I'll tweet about that and post about it soon. And have the schedule with all the time zones and shit. And yeah, I guess I'll be talking about post E3 stuff for my segment next podcast for June.
And I'll be talking about Kant. Immanuel Kant. No, I don't know. I can't decide this far ahead of time.
But yeah, do you have anything else you want to plug or talk about real quick?
Just please go check out Final Bid. Trust me, it's interesting. Yeah. It's interesting and it's good. And if it didn't sound interesting, that's my fault, not the game's fault. But I did my best.
Check it out.
Check it out. Come on.
Come on. All right. Well, with that, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next month.
See ya.